Hey, what up? My name is Sky, like the big blue sky, and today I'm going to show you how to stand out in the crowded inbox and book more meetings with your ideal prospects. But the way I'm going to show you how to do it today is not with your copy, it's not with your targeting, it's with the experience you deliver to your cold prospects. And so the way I'm going to show you how to do this is actually with one of my favorite new pieces of technology called Flowla. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can implement this technology into your sales process, but the way that I want to show you today is with a permission-based prospecting framework. And so this is where instead of sending a cold email to a prospect and immediately asking them to book a sales call with you, instead, we're asking them if it's okay that we share more information about how our offer works. This helps us not only identify who is actually interested in a product or a service like we have, but it also gives your prospect the opportunity to do more exploration, do some more digging into you guys and decide if they think it's worth scheduling a sales call before they actually agree to booking that call with you. So it's a much more low barrier call to action that is going to lead to more replies. And where Flowla comes into play within this workflow is like after the prospect has opted in to receiving more information from you, instead of sending a link to a video sales letter or sending a Google Doc with a bunch of copy on how your offer works, blah, 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 blah. Instead, you can send a custom flow. So let's actually jump into the Flowla platform so I can show you what I mean. So what you're looking at here on the back end of Flowla is a bunch of different examples of custom flows that we've sent to a bunch of different companies who have responded back to our cold emails. And so I blurred out the company names, but what's important here, as you can see, is we have one of our templates. So let's say for our example, I was prospecting the company Flowla and I wanted to book a sales call with them to explore our services. I send them a cold email. I'm like, hey, this is why I'm emailing you. This is what we do. Is it okay if I send you more information about how we work? They respond back and they say, yes, Sky, go ahead and send over more information. What I could do is I could then come into my template, duplicate this flow. I'll rename it. And I've already got Flowla saved in here as a company. So I'll go ahead and select Flowla, and then boom, as you can see, it automatically starts customizing the flow to Flowla's branding with their logo and everything. So I'll go ahead and click Create Flow. And boom, now you can see we've come in here to this customized flow. I didn't do any of this stuff with their logo or with the colors. It just automatically did that based on the Flowla URL. And we've got the rest of my template here, which I'm going to show you in just a second. But first, what I wanted to show you is when I actually go to send this flow to them as more information, I can send this customized link. So this is what it would look like in the actual email when I send it to them. And so as you can see in this screenshot here, this is an example of how we would respond back to someone who's like, yes, go ahead and send more information. We'll send them the link to the custom flow that has all of their logo and their branding on it, which is going to be a little bit more of a unique experience where they can see that it's clearly customized to them. It's going to pique some curiosity. They're going to be like, what is this? And it's going to drive more people to click into your flow and start to explore what you have inside. But as you can see underneath the link to the custom flow, we also just go straight from the meeting and steal this template. It works really well within this prospecting process, and we just suggest one singular day and time. But then also in the flow, which I'll show you in just a second, we've got a link to my calendar so they can pick a time if that one doesn't work as well. So, okay, let's dive into some of the other reasons why Flowla is a really useful tool for not just standing out in the inbox, but also for any of your prospecting purposes here, because on the back end of each individual flow, we also can track who is engaging with what different pieces of content in our template. So once you send this flow out, you will get notified when your prospect clicks into it. Immediately, you're going to get an email into your inbox saying, so-and-so at this company is looking at your flow. And if you think about it, this is useful for you if you're like a solo founder or if you've got a sales team that's sending this stuff out, because the minute when someone is looking into a flow like this, you know that they have time. And so if you've got a sales team, this is the perfect time to call that prospect as well to try and connect with them and get the conversion. So not only are you getting insight into if they're looking at it, how long they're looking at it, and what content within your flow they're specifically looking at, you know the right time to reach out to them to try and connect and go for the meeting. But to show you a little bit more insight here, when you actually follow up, it's going to tell you which slide they spent the most time on. So not only can you follow up at the right time, but you can follow up with the context of what content they've already been looking at. And so you can be a lot more tailored in your conversation and try to relate it to what it seems like they're interested in. But now one of the biggest questions I get is like, how do I structure the flow, or what do I have in the content? And so what I'll share with you is just like what we found has worked for us. And I'll tell you the framework that we've used to structure our flow. And there are 4 parts to the framework that we use. Part 1 is the hook. Part 2 is the problem that your prospect is facing. Part 3 is the solution broken into pillars. And then part 4 is the call to action with an option to consume more content from you if you have it. And so let's take a look at how that's applied. Part 1, we have the hook. And the way that we're hooking the prospect is just by being very customized to them. So within this template here, it'll pull in their logo, but in the headline, we will also customize this as much as possible. So depending on the industry or who they sell to, we will change the language here and say, there are hospitals that need your help. There are apartment complexes that need your help. Whatever the industry is that your prospect sells to, we'll customize this specifically to them. And then from there, we immediately go into the problem. And so the philosophy behind this is that solutions have no value without there first being a problem. So before we explain our solution, we are first going to surface and tee up our solution by talking about the problem that we solve. And so what we're not doing in here is expanding super deep on the problem, why the problem is a problem, the cost of not solving the problem, all that stuff. We were just very briefly talking about the problem at a high level, and then we're immediately transitioning into our solution. So there are tons of businesses that need your help, but with endless content, endless solutions, your prospects are having trouble hearing you amongst all the noise. That's why we help you make the first move. And so at this point, we have to define what that means, the first move. And so the next slide, we define what that means, and it's using outbound sales tactics to reach out to your ideal prospect. So we're reframing how outbound is viewed here, and we're teeing it up as the solution to this potential problem. And then we expand on our solution as pillars here in the next part. So at Skyline, we use our 3 pillars to fill your calendar. Pillar 1, pillar 2, pillar 3, and we just very briefly explain it, right? So if you think about it, the problem is that there's tons of solutions out there and there's tons of content, so it's really hard to get your prospect's attention and stand out amongst all the noise. So instead of just being more noise in the crowd, you can just reach directly out to exactly who you want to work with a unique and compelling message to capture their attention and present to them why you think you should do business together. And so the way that we think about structuring these pillars when we explain our service is like, I want you to imagine your prospect is in their current situation and they want to get to their desired situation. And then we position our solution as the bridge between those 2 places, and each of these pillars is a point in the bridge to help them go from their current situation to the desired situation within the context of the problem they're experiencing that we solve. And so in order to reach out and make the first move, you've got to know who is the best prospect to reach out to and what makes them a good fit. So we use our prospect intelligence to help you identify who has a problem that you can solve. We then customize our AI model to you, your offer, and your market so that you can have really personalized messaging based on the problems that your prospects are experiencing without having to rely on mass market AI tools or spending a whole bunch of time crafting these personalized emails. It can be pretty much completely automated for you. From there, we build all the systems and infrastructure to run a high-performance outbound sales program. And for the right business, we will pay for all of that and manage the entire process for you. So risk reversal at the end. So hopefully you can see here how the solution is positioned as the bridge between the current situation where they're having trouble standing out and all the noise to the desired situation where they have a full calendar with prospects who are their ideal customer. And then from there, we finish it out with the call to action. So we link to the website, we give them a link to the calendar, and then we also link to our YouTube channel if they want to consume more content as well there. So that's everything I got for you guys today. Hopefully you found this video useful. I'm going to link to Flowla's website down below, so it's really easy for you to find if you want to check them out. But just to clarify, I am not an affiliate for Flowla. It's just a tool that I found really useful over the past couple months for outbound prospecting, and I hope that you can find it useful as well. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments down below. But other than that, I will see you on the next video. Bye.